affiliate models that work in Africa.
Well, good afternoon. We've got the after lunchtime session, so let's make it interesting. Welcome to the Sigma stage. My name is Sasha Boerma. I'm from Split the Pot. We've got a really interesting panel which follows quite nicely after the one we've just had. We've spoken about player acquisition. Now we're going into something about how to acquire those players, and obviously that comes a lot with affiliation, the challenges it faces, and the models around it, what works, what doesn't work, how different is it. So I've got two incredible panelists sitting here with me. I'll let them introduce themselves and give a quick background and history because we haven't got a lot of time to discuss a lot of information. Mari, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Menezes from hotslots.win. I've been in this industry about almost 20 years, seen how it's grown, and I've sat on both sides from an operator's perspective and affiliate, so that gives me advantage of shaping deals that are beneficial for both parties.
All right, thank you so much. And Jessica, would you like to say a couple words about yourself? You've got quite an interesting background, which has kind of come full circle. So if you can just kind of tell us about that, then when we ask questions, we can understand where your background's coming from.
Amazing. So my name is Jessica. I am the director and CEO of Mason Media Group. We have an interesting background, like Sasha says. So we've been on the network side of the industry, which gives us a complete 360 view of working with both the operators as well as working with affiliates. So yeah, it's definitely something that's newer, I'd say, within the South African market, and understanding the different strategies, I suppose, in acquiring players. So yeah, my knowledge is more on a little bit of both sides of the coin. So I think that's very interesting and how it's entering the market at the moment.
Okay, brilliant. So I know there's a lot of us who are here from South Africa, so we understand the affiliation model and why, well, how different our regulation is compared to the rest of our Tier 1 operators. But just to give a brief overview for those who are not too familiar with the South African challenges with affiliation, Jessica, can I just ask you for a quick synopsis, and Mara, if you want to add on, how does it differ, the South African regulated affiliation models versus your normal Tier 1s?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. My background is mainly from the unregulated European side of things and now moving more into a regulated space. So there's a lot of differences, especially within the actual commission structures, and working with both sides, that relationship and how that relationship differs as well. So I want to say my traditional understanding of affiliation is working with more of our CPAs, our hybrids, whereas now within the regulated space, South Africa specifically, we're looking more at our rev share models, and listing fees are coming up now. Slowly but surely we're opening up to hybrids and CPAs, but it's not as prominent as what we've seen within the unregulated space. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops as well. Personally, from an operator side of things, I think that it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal model to have for an operator, in that the affiliates or the integrated marketing channels that they do offer, it's up to the advertising firms, the publishers, etc., to really push that value more than it is on the brand side of things, because you're working on a rev share. You want to make that money. You want to push as best as you can for your higher depositing, higher valued players. Whereas on an affiliation side of things or a network side of things, where you work on a CPA model, it's a volume game. That's where you're making your money, and not always so great for the brand, I suppose, because you could be paying X amount for a CPA that a player is just not worth. So having both of those commissions within your mind, and how that works, you really have to understand your traffic and your traffic sources.
So Mari, I'm going to put this award to you.
She covered it all.
Pardon?
She covered it all.
Exactly, so I want to extend on that a bit more. So I know from experience, and I want your take on it with just maybe recent numbers. When we look at our Tier 1 countries, you got your EPMs and things. How different is it? So what are the numbers looking like with regards to acquiring players in a Tier 1 and a South African market?
So the thing with tier ones is they're quite established already. So for an affiliate, you don't really get any benefit from it. You're actually just advertising for them. You're going to get a few customers a month with them. So you rather look for new entries. And I personally prefer the rev share model. I think that is the fairest for both parties, operator and for the affiliate. The CPA is open for abuse. And yeah, I think that is the main thing. Stick to rev share, and then both sides need to do their part.
So, as we all know, back in the day when lockdown happened, rev share was the way forward. And obviously, some operators didn't behave very well, and CPAs and hybrids came into play. But South Africa seems to have very much stuck to the revenue share. So, if affiliates coming in, they look at the South African market and they're like, oh, no, why would we do that? Why would an affiliate come in? And how would they be convinced that revenue share is still something that is fair and profitable for them in South Africa?
From my opinion, I think that South African bettors are very loyal. South Africans in general, we don't like change. We kind of stick to what we know. We order the same thing off of the menu. We like our comforts. We know our comforts. If you're signing up to something, your players are loyal. So if you're coming into a market and you really do have to try quite hard to get your trust and your loyalty, I suppose, out there. But once you've engaged that player, you almost have a player for life. We all know Betway, we all know Hollywood Bets, whether we have an account or not. That's the kind of it's the kind of brand identity that you want to have. And once you establish that, your players are coming back, you then get to see the sort of taste of the players and what they are depositing. Obviously, that changes within your urban versus your rural, etc. But if you have a strong enough strategy that is able to encompass our melting pot, you grab that attention, you grab that community, and like I said, you don't really have that problem with maintaining or retaining your players.
Thank you. So I want to again build on for that, give it to you, Mario. So obviously, it costs a lot for affiliates to build up their traffic. So when they're assessing an operator on who do I send this traffic to, and knowing that it's a long-term game and not a short-term game, what does an affiliate look for when they're deciding which operator to sign up with?
There's quite a few important points. You need to know what province they're licensed in. There's a misconception that with Africa and South Africa that it's one size fits all. Each province has its own regulations. Some allow affiliates, some don't. So you've got to be careful on that. You've got to know their platform. Do they have CRM? What affiliate program are they using? Do they have enough money in, money out solutions? What's their customer care like? Those are all really important factors because you're going to hand the customer over to them. Are they still going to look after that customer? Their job is to now make sure that customer stays there and stays loyal.
So you're saying it's not a what do you owe, what's your CPE, and are you on no negative NGR?
That's it.
We're having a bit further conversations in this.
First you want to see what they got, and then you get to the negotiations.
Okay, amazing. Just also something else I think that we did talk about and you agreed on it was also the T's and C's and how they differ. Do you would just want to expand on that a bit?
Sorry?
The terms and conditions on how they differ a bit.
It's still, South Africa's still operator-driven, and over the years, the landscape is moving a little bit more where the affiliates do have more of a say. But there are those pitfalls where negative carryover, the NGR is very problematic. You need clarification. What are the deductions? You have to watch out that the changes aren't made. I mean, the terms and conditions are all laid out there, and it's all one-sided, okay? And it's, remember, I've been on both sides. And it allows the operator to kind of change at any minute. They can bring back the negative carryover at any stage if they feel like it. They can, what's the other one that they like to do, is change the minimum registrations per month. And then you could agree on an NGR. A lot of times with the affiliate programs is you cannot see what the deductions are. And then if they said, no, that we're only taking 30% off as a deduction, and the next thing is 50%. But if you've been in the market long enough, you know what your customers are depositing, you know what values are, and you can see straight away that something has shifted.
So this behavior that you're talking about is exactly why we saw this major shift 5-6 years ago from revenue share to CPAs, and now there's all sorts of crazy terms happening and very expensive traffic, which has made traffic extremely expensive. Are the South African operators behaving themselves so that doesn't shift in that direction, or do you think that's a potential threat that it might be going that way as well?
Because it's shifting and there's so much competition, and the other thing with these top operators that have such big budgets, marketing budgets, let's call it the middle and the entry levels actually depend on affiliates more, so they behave more. And if you are a strong affiliate and drive strong business, you actually a shot in the arm for them.
Do you see the revenue structure changing? Do you see it going more the other way that we've seen overseas?
It's possible. I think there's a hybrid that's starting to appear, that you're getting a bit of a CPA also, and those are the operators that are trying to keep the affiliate to more pegged to them, and you sit high up the food chain. So they'll pay you for a player and give you a decent rev share. So yes, there is some changes. I mean, we've been made offers some operators to give us a CPA, which we're not really into, but we'll take it.
We'll take what we can get. Something else I just want to also ask, just shifting gears slightly, is talking about PPC and influencers. There was a bit of discussion early on about social media being used and bonus abuse coming from it. What is your take on social influencers, their deal structures, and also PPC and black hat PPC? I know we shouldn't talk about black hat, but let's have a quick chat about that one.
So, social media is important, and the bookmakers do have sometimes issues with that, where their accounts get shut down. The PPC, again, the big players take all the keywords and makes everything a lot more expensive. I think I missed half the question.
No, so for example, let's take it step by step. So for example, your PPC, exactly. So are you saying that it's very much dominated by the bigger budgets, the bigger players? Are you seeing any emergence of black hat PPC perhaps by the smaller operators who feel like they can get away with it, or is it still very taboo?
I think it's still very dominated by the bigger players.
Okay. And social influencers, what is your take on those deal structures?
That's quite new, and I think a little messy at the moment, and both sides are trying to figure it out.
All right.
I know some operators are using them as affiliates, and others pay them as a flat fee, and it's fairly new out there. But I think it'll find its place soon enough.
Well, saying that, we're going to just shift gears again into the scary space, where there's rumor that in 6 months' time there's going to be massive bans on advertising. What do you think that's going to look like in the affiliate model landscape?
So I think this is quite an interesting topic, actually, and something I really prepared well for while entering this market. Is we've all seen the billboards across the highways, and we've seen the TV commercials, we've seen the we've heard the radio commercials as well. But if we say 5 years ago, let's say pre-COVID, when you were driving down on the N12, like from work, you're having a look at the Steers burger that's on the highway. Now you're having a look at, your online casino and sports betting that's going there. But prior to that, in advertising itself, not specifically in iGaming, that was alcohol and cigarettes. So when last did we see Peter Stuyvesant on the highway, So eventually, I think that we've got a really good boom. By 2029, it's projected that 74% of our media ad spend will go to digital advertising within casino and gaming, which is absolutely phenomenal. But it's also somewhat of a taboo. So how long can it last? How long before, we've got that taken down?
Exactly. So what do you think? If you had to make a guess, Mario, what would your prediction be?
So I think if you're an affiliate and you prepared yourself for this as an opportunity, that problem is actually going to equal profit. So if you've prepared your marketing strategy, the way you've collected data and customers, it'll actually be an opportunity. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. Also, a little less noise out there. It is a bit loud.
Yeah, so what is that strategy? What would you think? I mean, you don't have to give us all your secret sauce, but what is that strategy? What should people be thinking about for that opportunity? You don't have to tell us all your secrets, I promise.
So, content, be content driven, and have your own customer base that you built over the years, and then you can rent them out or share them with the different operators.
Right.
Try not to say too much.
I get you. All right, and your take on it, what would you, if you had to advise people on the change and how they should prepare themselves for this, what would your take be, Jess?
Well, I think like integrated marketing, obviously it's something we've spoken about, and just having that brand identity across your different media channels. But it's also how you are keeping those players, like you said, keeping your customer base that you've acquired over the years. So using specific strategies, AI personification is just a good example of that as well. So I think that there's a lot of things that both affiliates and operators can do in this. But yeah, I suppose it's just the secrets of the industry, and that's why we're here to make
to make it work and make it happen.
Exactly.
So already in the affiliation space, obviously it's quite difficult with regards to what we are and are not allowed to say in the regulated space. Do you think with this new regulation that's going to get even tighter and even stricter?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
No, it will. It definitely will.
All right. And then, we're talking about regulated, but rumor has it that if it gets too difficult, it's going to happen. What happened in the UK is that people just go grey again. Is that something that you think would explode in affiliation in South Africa?
To be honest, I hope not. I think that it would be fantastic if South Africa as a growing market could continue to grow and keep our integrity. It's something that I think is, casino and sports betting is very much linked to our sports teams at the moment. The box, we've really had a great year in sport, and I think that casino and sports betting has come onto that. And you want to do things the right way, whether that's difficult or not. You want things to go the right way, and I think that it would be fantastic if this market could grow organically and stay regulated without too much harm on operators and affiliates.
Thank you for that. And if you had to say, if you're an affiliate and you're looking at the South African market, just looking at modeling, where do you think the strength lies and the gaps lie in the South African affiliate market?
You want to take it?
Again, with the advertising, I think that's going to, the curving of the advertising, that will, if you position correctly, that will create opportunities for the affiliates. And then just to touch on what you said there about the regulation, yes, there needs to be, I do believe there needs to be a bit of curving on the amount, and how they do it, I don't know. But regulators do have to be careful. People will bet. People will do what they want to do. And if they go, and it is, the market is there, it's regulated, there are taxes coming in, all industries hurt and grow and fall behind, and the world is changing. So a lot of money is coming in, and it's keeping sports alive. But if they're over-regulated, all will happen is it's just all that revenue will disappear. Yeah. There's CSI projects that are attached to all the operators and different gambling boards. So there's money trickling from business all the way down into social and communities and that, and besides the sponsorship. So it's a very fine line, and it has to be done very carefully, otherwise it could backfire.
Great. So just piggybacking off this morning's conversation at Graph, there was a couple of conversations being had where the discussion of underage playing and the exposure to games from such a young age is becoming more and more prevalent. And a couple of examples were shown with their own children. Kids as young as 14 having 5,000 Rand in a Bitcoin wallet and playing online casino games and having conversations with their peers about it. How do you think that sort of segment of community is going to be safeguarded? And then second part of that, how do you think affiliation can pivot onto that when they are the right age to start gambling?
Sure. I think that's a difficult question.
I'll take that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, that happens easily in the unregulated market. So that if you regulate it, you got your ID checks, your, let's call it FICA light, and then the full FICA. Yes, the kid can take parents' ID and do certain things, but it'll come out quite quickly. And then it's on operators to monitor the betting patterns and the responsible gaming of monitoring the customers. Are they betting too much? Is there spikes in different depositing habits and playing habits and certain things like that? But as soon as they become too tight, it'll go underground, and then it allows for those kids to play. I think it's very difficult for them to play on the regulated space, but the unregulated, they'll take anything and everything.
Correct. Also, the research they were doing, because I'm just feeling back to your comment about content, they are very content heavy using ChatGPT and using and searching for information. Is there a way to kind of safeguard that?
As an affiliate or as an operator?
I mean, look, affiliates, we've worked with some affiliates that do some naughty things and will target the wrong people on purpose. There is that element of affiliation. How are we able to kind of safeguard against that?
Well, as an affiliate, you don't want to do like you said, the naughty stuff kind of thing. And as an operator, safeguarding is going to be difficult. It's a wide world.
Yeah.
And it's just open to everybody. So I think it comes down to business ethics and how you run. So I would say operators pick your affiliates carefully, and affiliates pick your operators carefully. Yeah, so that you stay in an ethical lane.
Yeah.
and a decent.
So I'm just keeping a close eye on time. We're just going to wrap up. So if you can just give a quick elevator pitch, both of you, on affiliation models that you feel that work really well and your best learnings and advice that you would give. Jess, do you want to go first?
I really like the rev share model in South Africa. I know that a lot of people don't agree with it, but like I said, it keeps both parties playing at their best. On an operator side, you want your CRM, and on an affiliate side, you want to provide good traffic. So yeah, I think that rev share is a phenomenal kind of leverage between the two. Advice that I would have is that just know your traffic channels. You can't really also, on an operator side, you can't expect the volume from in-app or from social on simple rev share. We know that this is lower value, but on an affiliate side of things, like we've said, pick your operators. You know what you need. There are operators out there that do say hybrids, that do say CPAs. So align yourself with the brands that, if you're an SEO agent, with strong rev share brands. If you are a Facebook social agent with brands that do offer those sort of models, just understand both sides of the coin in that space.
Thank you. And Mario?
I prefer the rev share. I think that's the best. But when it comes to more established brands, the bigger brands that have bigger bases, then for an affiliate, the CPA would work better, because you're not going to get enough traffic, enough new customers through the door to build up a book that's decent enough. So then rather take the CPA, because otherwise you're just marketing for them and you're not seeing anything. So rather take the money up front.
Brilliant. And what are those ranges looking? How much is traffic costing ballpark in South Africa at the moment?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
You work out our GGR.
Okay, all right. And listing fees, are those becoming a big thing?
Charging an affiliate for listing fees? I won't join.
Okay. And you, what do you think, Jess?
Well, with a growing market, I think like listing fees for an operator, there's new brands that are coming up in South Africa every month. So you also need, as an operator, to secure your position, especially if you find a good SEO site, one that drives traffic, drives volume, has been established, has been around for a while, because you're not guaranteed to actually be on that site next week. Whereas a listing fee just ensures that that's your position, and we usually see over the course of, your first month you'll see your volume, second month you'll see your value, and from there it grows exponentially. Like I said, the players are loyal, they come back to what they know.
Well, thank you so very much for sharing your insights and your time. It's been amazing. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.